You guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool, cool. Oh shoot, start from the beginning. Okay, I'm recording this. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, so the three things I want to talk through today, I'm just gonna share my thoughts on how you build an MVP, how to get customers, and we're gonna go over homework two a little bit because I do recognize that homework two is a lot and it can be overwhelming. So I just want to make sure that by the end of this session, you guys are good. Like you guys feel confident that okay, I know how to do homework two, and I have an idea of like how to build my MVP and how to get users on it. And I'm going to share more information about week 4 and 5 over the weekend. So keep a lookout for that. And also, I love that you guys are sending like the thank you notes to Adam and Albert. And if you guys haven't done that yet, please go do that. I want to start making this culture of just being very grateful for our speakers because we're not paying them and they're just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. And I want to get more speakers. So I want to try to get like their friends to also be speakers. So this is just like a nice thing to do. Okay. So this is like kind of everything you kind of need to know about building products, right? It's really just like validating, like finding out if people want what you're building, and then going out there and actually just build like this first version of it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like, it doesn't even have to be that good. It just has to be like good enough that it validates that, yeah, this solves a problem for like your customers, you know? And then you just share with them, like just be like, here, this is what I have. What do you think? And you repeat it, right? Because they're going to tell you what they think, or they're going to start using it. And based on like how they use it, you're going to learn a lot from like whether or not it's really important. And this is it. It's really just like these three steps repeated over and over again. And this is called like an iteration cycle, right? So how I like to think about it is that you're really just trying to get as many iteration cycles as possible. And the time in between each iteration cycle, you're trying to reduce that time. Um, think of it as like going to the gym, right? Like the more you work out, the better it is, right? If you work out in the morning, evening, nights, you just get more reps in versus someone who like works out once a day, you know? So that's kind of the idea, right? You want to visit the gym as much time as possible and get as much rest in between that, or reduce the amount of rest in between that. Does that make sense? You guys are following so far? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are following.
Yep, we're
Okay.
good.
Sweet. Okay, cool. But yeah, in summary, all it is talk to your users, build what they want, and iterate quickly. Okay, so how do you validate what people want? You really just got to ask them and show them. And once you show them, try to get commitments, right? Like if you're trying to sell ice cream to them, but you don't yet have ice cream, you can tell them like, okay, this is what I'm trying to sell. Do you want it? Like, would you actually pay for it? Can you Venmo me $5 right now? Just to like pre-order it, you know? Like we're selling for 10, but if you Venmo me right now, like we'll do it for less. You know, commitments could be like whatever it is, right? It could be emails, it could be money, it could be intros. Like, for example, you're trying to sell software, like business software, right? And you're talking to a software engineer, and this is really going to help the software engineer. But in order for the company to actually use it, they need someone from HR to buy it. So with the software engineer, put their reputation online and give you an intro, right? Whatever that commitment is, that's how you validate if someone wants what you're doing, right? Because they're actually invested in what you're doing. Okay, so here are just some websites I thought are really good because I know like you guys are like starting to build your websites now. It really doesn't have to be that complicated. The call to action just needs to be like very obvious. Call to action is just like if I'm a user and I go on your website, what do you want me to do? It's very obvious what this website wants me to do because there's only one thing to do. Give me my email. And also look at the writing. Generate more leads with professional landing. It's just so easy to understand. Like I don't need to be like Dude, if a 5-year-old saw this website, they probably get what's going on, right? And it should be that easy. Like it shouldn't be. I shouldn't have to like do brain power, use brain power to understand what you're building or like how it's going to benefit my life. So keep it very simple and just tell me what the value is. Look at this, the VPN that just works. I don't know what kind of features he has or technical. I don't care. I just want to have VPN that works. And look at the offer too, right? It's like get 3 months free. I think sometimes it's nice to have an incentive for why people want to sign up. So how I like to think about it is what is the best thing that I can offer this person to get them to sign up? Even Robinhood in the beginning, like Robinhood is a trading app. But in the beginning, right, like all they had was this. And they just need to prove that people wanted what they were building. And then once they have like enough people that are demanding for it, they will talk to these people, right? That's why it's so good to get emails because then you can like actually message them and have a conversation with them. At this phase, you're kind of just you're really trying to optimize for learning because you're not really sure what you're building yet. Like I don't think anyone here is really sure what they're building yet, right? Like what you want to do is find the people that you want to help, people who are kind of remotely interested in what you're doing, and ask them like, hey, why are you interested in what we're doing? You know, what made you want to sign up? You know, because it actually takes effort to sign up to things, you know? So it's good for you to understand why did you want to sign up? What appealed to you? So this is the first version of Speak Up Ventures. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because it's just so easy, right? Like as in like I didn't even have anything yet. I had no speakers, no mentors. Honestly, I just made this webpage and I just thought about what is the best thing I could have offered, I can offer, like genuinely offer people. Looking back, I probably try to offer too much because if you look at it, like I don't know what I was trying to do, like job referrals, pure, it's a lot going on, right? But that's fine. It's a good starting point. And then once you actually get people signing up and you start talking to them, you can refine your value prop, right? Because you're going to understand why people signed up. What is the one or two things that really, really matter to them? In the beginning, it's okay to offer a lot just to like attract people. But then like you do want to stay focused and just focus on like the one or two things that really, really make a difference. Okay. All right. Before I go into how to build your MVP, is everyone following so far? Any questions?
Following, yeah.
Okay. You see how like you really don't need a lot to get started? A lot of it you can actually kind of fake, right? Because you're just really trying to validate that people want what you're doing. Now, once you've done that and you're trying to actually build something, this is the most generic thing, and I'm not saying anything new here. You really just want to start with the users. And the reason why I say this is because I think a lot of you, including myself, I fall into this trap all the time. We tend to focus more on what we can build for other people and what is the cool, what is something cool that would be like nice to exist, right? That is really cool for like a personal project. But if you actually want to build something that's useful, like something that people will actually like use and find value in it, you really do have to focus on the user and like what they're going through and how you can be useful for them. And this is really important because I think this is actually a mentality. Like you trying to be a useful person in anything that you do will likely make you a more will likely just make you a more useful entrepreneur, right? Because I think if you're just like in your room all the time and you're not out there being a useful human being, I don't think you can really build anything useful because you're just very self-centered. So it's really, yeah. So in summary, it's really not about what you want to make or what you think would be cool for the world. It's really about how can you solve a problem for your users? It all comes back to your users, you know? It's not like, oh, I want to make a music app because I think it'd be so cool, you know, but what does it do, right? Like, how is it going to benefit my life? So yeah, this is just kind of reiterating what I'm saying, right? I think some good questions to ask, like to even think about for a user is like, what are they trying to achieve? Like, why does this matter so much to them that they would like use your product to achieve it, you know? Um, what have they done before in the past? Like, why haven't it worked? Like, what is honestly keeping them up at night, right? Like, for example, being a founder, honestly, I think it's loneliness, like just being lonely and like it not working out, like your parents not believing you. Like, those are the things that keep people up at night, right? And those are the things you want to sell people on. Like, those are probably the things you want to have on your website too. Like good night's sleep as a founder. It's like, oh, that's kind of cute. Anyways, once they do sign up, it's also good to understand like why did they sign up? Like what was interesting about what you were doing? Like how did they do X? Why did they do X? Like who I think a good framework is like who, what, when, where, why, how. And I think another good mentality is just being very curious about your users. And I think this also just goes back to like focusing on your users and just trying to understand their lifestyle, like why do they think the way they think? Why do they behave the way they behave? And don't always trust what people say to you. Try to trust what they do, right? And that's why launching something is so good because like you can really see like if people are actually going to use it or are they just saying like, oh yeah, this is a good app, I totally use it. Like let me know when it launches. But then when it does launch, you can actually see if people actually use it and how they use it. So behavior is really important, not just their words. Okay. So how I would do this, and I put this in the week 2 write-up as well. Just make a list of all the things that your users need, right? And then start prioritizing it. Um, and try to distinguish between what is a need and what is a want. And what are nice to haves and what are must haves. So a good framework is this like, I don't know, this is like a product development framework, but basically like user A, right? And user A is just like your persona, right? Like what is like a stereotypical user for you? What do they think? How do they feel? What do they do every day? Where would you find them? This is like a user persona, is what they call it. So user A is trying to do X. Trying to do X is what are they trying to achieve, right? So that, oh wait, no, they're trying to do X so that they can achieve Y. Sorry, trying to do X is like the action that they're trying to do so that they can achieve Y. So Y is their goal, but they can't do it because of Z. So Z is that pain, right? Like the reason why they can't do something is because of Z. So when you're thinking about what you can offer someone, think about how you can reduce Z and help them get to Y easier. And say in very simple words, like words that they would understand. Like there's no need to overcomplicate it. This is really important. I think when you're starting out, you are trying to list like a bunch of things about how cool this would be. This would be a marketplace. There's gonna be so many like audio, I don't know, all these like amazing features, right? But really just keep it super simple. Like focus on the most important ones. Like honestly, I would say 90% of like all features are kind of useless. Really, you want to find like the I don't know, like the 10-20% ones, that makes all the difference. Yeah, so this is like basically what I'm saying, right? I think the startup founder intuition is to always add more features. Like, oh, this is not working. Let me add another feature, But really, you probably want to start taking away things. Like sometimes less is more. And then for your MVP, you kind of do want to do less and just create more value. So I think something to ask yourself when you're thinking about what to build and how to build it is what will truly make a difference. Don't just like add random features that like will be nice to have. It's really got to be like the most important thing. And this is also a mentality that you should have as well, right? Like being very ruthlessly prioritizing what is important and what you should do. I think that's just like a mentality that you should have really in life. So yeah, just start thinking about what is like the simplest, easiest, cheapest, fastest way you can help them get what they want. And also help you get what you want, right? Like validating your business, validating your product, validating that there's a need. I think this is just like a mentality you need to be like just being very scrappy about it, right? There's no need to like hire a bunch of people I don't know, take like a month and a year to launch something. There's just no need for that. You can literally go on Canva and like design the app and like show people like, is this something that you want? Like, how would you use it? Can you just click through the Figma, click through it so I can see how you're using it? Oh, why did you click on that? That's not a button. Why did you think it was a button? You know, just start like, you really want to start showing people what you're trying to do so that people can get you feedback. Otherwise, it's just gonna be all in your head and like it's just all in your head and doesn't do anything. It's not about the user anymore. It's about you. And you don't want that. Okay, so measuring success. This is also really important because I think a lot of times, including me, I kind of just build things, but then I don't measure whether or not this is successful. Like, what does success really mean? And that is really important. Um, kind of forgot what I wanted to say for this slide. Anyways, I think the point is you want to look at like what is like the 10% of the things that you can do that will accomplish 90% of the results, basically. And don't fall in love with your solution. Like I know some of you guys have ideas coming in and probably have ideas now, but I think the thing I want to emphasize is don't be too attached to whatever solution you have. It really doesn't fucking matter. Your solution doesn't matter. Like it's really about helping people and like solving a problem for people. And people's problem will change, right? Like the world changes, like a pandemic hits, a tsunami hits, a virus happens, like the world changes, like and this is called market change, right? The market shifts. AI explodes, like a company makes an invention, and like things can happen in the world, and people's needs and wants will change along with that. And that's fine as long as you're not too attached to your solution. You know, you focus on the people and okay, people's needs change. Therefore, I probably need to do something about my product so I can help them, right? It's all about helping people and being useful for people. And I think that's something just really important to emphasize when you're thinking about how to build something, what features I should add. It's all about the people. And in the beginning, it's really not about making sales. Like I know it's nice to make sales, and I know we're gonna have a talk about sales. But what good is it to make a sale if like you take their money and then they don't return? And, you know, you get them for a month. The lifetime value just isn't there, right? So in the very beginning, you're still learning what is important. Like why are they, what are they trying to do, right? You try to be in the mentality of like, I am trying to learn right now. I'm not just trying to make money. Nice. It would be nice if you give me a pre-order because then I'll know that this really matters to you. But I still want to know why it matters to you, right? So operate in the mentality of learning and try to optimize for learning, right? That's why it's good to get people's emails and beginning contact information so you can talk to them. It's not just good if they download your app. It just doesn't mean anything if they download your app. Are they going to use it? Are they going to come back? Why did they even do it? Like these are, you want to get deep insight. You know, like downloading apps are just superficial metrics. Yeah, not just about the user, but retaining them. Okay, so this is going to involve doing things that don't scale. And this is just like a famous saying, right? Doing things that don't scale. And what that really means is sometimes you're just gonna have to like do things that very manually because you don't have it all figured out yet, right? Like you probably have to talk to every single user that you have in the beginning manually. And it's not gonna scale, right? You're not gonna, when you get to 10,000 users, you probably can't talk to all of them. But when you have like the first 10 people who sign up, talk to every single one of them. Or what is this? Yeah, talk to every single one of them. I have this video. Can you guys see my screen for this video? Can you guys see my screen for this video or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Stanford
Can you guys
CS
hear it?
major. I did front-end engineering at Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain the concept of this video. Basically, it's the DoorDash founders. And we're just gonna watch this video real quick. I'm just gonna skip here.
And the four of us came together about 6 months ago to work on software for small business owners. But we didn't have a need at first, so we just went out and talked to all the small business owners we could find. After over 100 interviews, we came across a really interesting problem with small business restaurants in an area like this, Palo Alto.
Yeah, so it turns out restaurants in Palo Alto don't deliver, even though they really want to, but they can't afford it.
but their consumers are craving for it, but the places that the consumers love just can't deliver. And we also found out about these delivery drivers who had a ton of spare time, and they all wanted to earn extra cash during that downtime.
Right, and so that's when we built an initial product, untiltleddelivery.com. And how it works is the customer goes to the website and places an online order that gets automatically sent to the restaurant. And then we, as the dispatchers, with some pretty neat routing and batching algorithms, we're able to send the drivers efficiently to get the orders to the customers at a really fast time.
Yeah, and the four of us actually started off as delivery drivers. And over time, we hired more as we grew. In our first month of launch, with not much marketing, we got over 150 paying customers in the Palo Alto area, which was really awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. What did you guys notice? Actually, yeah, speak up this time. I'm asking you guys a question. Like, what did you guys notice in that video?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Who is speaking? Sorry, I don't know who's
I can talk. Yeah, so what I see the two information. So number one is MVP is working. The four people in the video, they are drivers like to trusting their MVP and they receive the paid customer. So it was some MVP is proof that it's working in a small group. And the second is like I also saw that they also have a plan to growth, which is starting with the small regions, and then they have a plan to say they will hire more driver. They have operating that with more restaurants. So I can see they're working right now. They have a plan for future.
Cool. Anyone else? I just want to hear everyone's thoughts, or people who want to share.
Well, I kind of noticed that the presentation in this video is a little bit, low quality, which kind of surprised me. I was expecting that an application to YC might be, a little more carefully done, I guess, like with a higher quality camera and, avoiding stumbling over any words. But they it seemed like they really prioritized the content over the form, and it seems like YC might have cared a lot more about the content than the care that they took in presenting it.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else notice like the thing that what was the thing that didn't scale that they were doing?
Yeah. I mean, they set up a website and they were the delivery drivers themselves. So they did that first until they started hiring people to be the drivers for them.
Yeah, rumor has it they're still delivery drivers, like once a month or something. Like they still drive and meet the customer because they need to know what the experience is like, right? Like both as the driver and also for the customer, like what that's actually like, what the product is like. So yeah, maybe instead of like hiring a bunch of drivers in the beginning, you become the bus drivers, right? Or delivery drivers. Maybe instead of building an app that teaches everything about investing, maybe you just start really small, like with one module, and you teach 10 kids about finance over Discord, right? I think the idea is that you just want to validate as fast as possible. And sometimes you don't need to build everything to get started. You just got to get started. This is getting repetitive. Basically, yeah, the goal here, test your business idea, your product, or whatever hypotheses that you have before you invest even more time and money and labor and resources, right? Maybe start a website, design the product, and just list a bunch of like the most important features about the product and start trying to get signups. And yeah, be very shameless about sharing it. I know this is something I've said, and some of the speakers have said this as well, but I think sometimes we hold too much attachment to our ideas. Like if some people don't sign up for it, or people say, "Oh, I don't understand," or I wouldn't use it," or "I don't get why you're doing it." I don't know. We feel a little attacked, right? But really, it doesn't matter. Like you're just trying to learn why people don't like it. Like, oh, if you don't like it, why? Why do you think that? Right? You're just trying to understand. Really, you're trying to understand people and how the world's working. I think a lot of you guys are in college or high school. Dude, the world is so much bigger than like Ithaca, Cornell, and like Ivy League communities and high school. It's so much bigger than that. And there's so many people that don't like, dude, when I went to Silicon Valley, everyone was focused on AI and building like the next generation of like cloud computing and like AGI and stuff. But dude, like I would say 99% of the world doesn't use AI. And it's really hard to believe, right? Because we all use AI. But like my parents don't use AI, my friends don't use AI. Like I think sometimes don't be so out of touch with what's really going on in the world. And just talk to more people. Like I think that's really important, talking to people. And yeah, collect emails, numbers, whatever you really need to feel validated that, okay, this is something that people want. Let me keep moving forward, right? Because at every stage, you're just trying to understand, like, am I working on the right thing? Like, is this something that people want? What do I need to move forward? You know, and this is just the mentality I need to have. Like, just the mentality that you need to have is, how can I move forward? What do I need to collect to move forward? You know? It's like Pokemon. You ever play that game where like every village you meet, you just need to like collect a few things and then like move on to the next village? Or like beat the gym masters or whatever? Like that's what you have to do, right? Just try to always keep moving forward. And yeah, you don't need to have everything figured out. You just have to get started. Share with users for feedback. And how you can look at for feedback is watch how they use it. You know, if you have designs, give them designs. Be like, hey, what were you on? If you have like just sketches, sketch it on paper and be like, hey, this is how I'm thinking about it. How would you use it? Use your finger as a mouse and just show me how you're going to use it. You know, you don't need to have the app built out for you to test how people are using it. You just have to be a little creative and like scrappy. You know, you don't need a high definition camera to film a YC video. You just got to film it. You know, with a there's so many cameras, your phone camera. Yeah, find out why they think what you're building is important. And for commitment, I spoke about this earlier, but you want to ask for either money, them to use it, or intros, right? Or anything that like puts the reputation, anything that's like valuable that they're putting up, that's important. Right? Like asking for emails is also important, right? Because they're trusting you enough to give you their contact information. And then the fact that they would meet you is another signal, right? That okay, yeah, because they're giving you their time, right? So just think about like what you need to validate that this is important. And something about sales, every conversation is either a success or a failure, right? There is no in between. And the reason why I say this is because you should be asking for commitment or just something that to validate what you're doing, right? And the people you're talking to should be giving something up. And you should put yourself on the line a little bit. And this is a little bit uncomfortable, but you want them to say either yes or no, right? Like if what I'm doing is important, then intro me to this person because I need this person, you know, I need this person's help, you know? And that's when you're really gonna know if what you're doing is truly that important. If you really want this, then use it, you know, like let's meet again next week, you know. If what you're doing is not important, they're not going to meet you. I wouldn't meet you. I wouldn't waste my time on things that are not important. So yeah, always try to be advancing conversations. You know, if you look at conversations as a funnel, in the beginning, you're probably gonna get a lot of people interested, but then like you want to keep advancing it all the way down to a sale. And this is just a mentality that I have, and I also encourage you to have this as well. Really do not be pushy about it. Don't be needy. Just literally say what you need. There's nothing you ever need from anyone, especially from customers or users or anything. You already have everything you need to like survive and do well in life. There's nothing you ever need from anyone, but you're just trying to prove something and you're trying to learn, right? So I feel like sales can often feel like, oh, this is weird. Like I'm asking for things. Like, how do I get it from someone? I wouldn't even operate in that mentality. I think just being very authentic about what you need and what you want, and just being very honest about it. I think that's the best way. Like, there's no like, oh, I'm a startup. Let me pretend to be bigger than I am so I can make the sale. So that might work for some people, but I honestly recommend just being very honest about, hey, we're really small, we're college students, we're just trying to figure it out. You want to work together? Because you're not really trying to sell to everyone in the beginning. You're really just trying to find the people who love what you're doing, who have this problem deep enough that they're willing to work with you on it. Like if you really think about it, what are the people that will work with a startup? You know, you're like unreliable, you have no money, you can fail any day, you're unstable. It's really gonna be people who like freaking who like love what you're doing, who trust you, who can relate to you in some way, you know? So yeah, I think being honest and open about your intentions and what you're trying to do is really important for sales. And it's also, I think, just really important for any relationships, right? Like dating, friendships, like anything, just being very open and honest about, hey, this is who I am, these are my intentions. Do you want to do this with me? Like, you know, that's it. You know, it's like don't beg for it. Like just don't do that kind of stuff. It's just not good. And yeah, in the beginning, if you're talking to people about it, you ever been in like meetups or like networking events, and all the people can do is like about all they talk about is their startup and how they're raising money, and it just feels so slimy and transactional, right? And there's a reason for that, because no one gives a shit about what you're working on. No one gives a shit about your product. It really doesn't matter. People care about themselves. So just talk about themselves, ask people questions about themselves, learn about what problems they have, what keeps them up at night, what they're trying to accomplish. And if there's synergy, then share about your product and how you think it can help them. And ask them what they think. Do they think it can help them too, right? You're not even trying to sell them. They're trying to they can sell themselves. Like people aren't stupid if they see that, oh, this can help me, you know? You just have to help them like express it. So there's really like sales is actually not about you. Sales is really all about the other person. And you just have to kind of ask the right questions. And yeah, I know I say this so many times, but please keep things just so fucking simple. Just what is Uber? How many times have you heard this where it's like, we are Uber. We revolutionize the taxi industry by revolutionizing mobile technology and creating a seamless app-based platform. Okay, but what do you do actually, right? I think this is a much better way to describe Uber. We're a ride-sharing company that connects passengers with drivers through a mobile app. It's just so much easier to understand. And like I don't need to process like a shit ton of words. It's just right there. You know, and I think similarly with whether you're applying for any application, especially for YC, for example, or speaking to an investor or speaking to your customers or speaking to your mom about what you're doing, I would just keep everything so simple. We teach people from Bangladesh English. That's all we do. You know, and if people are curious about it, they'll ask more questions about it, right? And you can get deeper. But I think it's more important in the beginning to make sure people understand you know, and then you can progress the conversation forward. If you just start off by like just unloading on them with like all these technical terms and jargon, it's over. Like I'm not listening. I'm gonna stop here for a second. But does that kind of make sense? Any like questions or anything? Any questions? No? Okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna go through the homework real quick. But before I do that though, like, okay, no questions, but like any thoughts about what I said? Like, and again, these are just my thoughts, right? You can share your thoughts, and I love to hear that.
Yeah. So, actually, the past couple days, I watched a Y Combinator video by Michael Seibel. I want to share it with the group. I have to find the exact timestamp, but he suggests to give like a 2-sentence pitch and then a real life example of how your company might help someone. Um, so like Airbnb. Oh man, I put myself in the position to do a pitch, but so Airbnb's real life example is that imagine you're at the Obama inauguration, you're down on your payments for your rent, and if you could give a spot in your room that's vacant for just $1,000 to make it through the month, there's plenty of people out there who'd be willing. But kind of phrasing a real life example and explaining the clear value proposition of renting your room out to someone.
Yeah, I kind of like that example. A few takeaways I got from that is don't get daunted by the word pitch. Just explain what you do. It's really like, because I think I get like that too, right? Pitch, like a 20-second pitch. How do I intro myself? Like you get nervous, but it really doesn't have to be like that. Um, oh yeah, go ahead.
I guess I'm kind of wondering, the thing about keeping it simple,
Mhm.
that's super real. And I feel like that goes for anything with interacting with other people. I guess I'm just wondering, how do you know what your simplest version is when you're still trying to figure out like the structure of everything? Because like we know the problem, we know the idea, but I guess how do you like simplify it for yourself before even presenting it to other people?
I think you just have to like decide what you're doing and then start testing it out with people. Like, hey, if I'm telling you Fiverr for college students, do you know what that means? Like, what do you think that means? And have them tell you what it means.
That's interesting.
I think like anything, right? Like you just have to test it out with people and try to get people's opinions.
That's fair.
Yeah. But in the beginning though, like even though you're still trying to figure out what you're trying to do, I think there's probably like something that you can say um that like generalizes what you're doing, right? Like even now with Speak Up, I don't exactly know what it is, right? But I know what we're doing. We're teaching kids entrepreneurship. That's what I say. We just teach kids entrepreneurship. Or we teach Asian kids entrepreneurship. Or I say we're a school that for entrepreneurship. I think also saying something that's like a noun, like saying something that everyone knows, like a school or like we are Uber for X is really good as well. Because people already know like what something is. And you just compare and you're like, yeah, but it's this thing that you know, but it's for this. For this purpose. I think the idea is that you just want to connect with people, right? Like, and it's not always going to be one thing. It's not always going to be the same thing, right? It kind of depends on who you're talking to, really, right? Like, if I'm talking to like my mom, for example, yeah, I would say we're a school that teach kids entrepreneurship, but if I'm talking to like YC, for example, I might say we're an accelerator, right? I don't know. I think it kind of depends on who I'm talking to, and you just have to kind of test it out a little bit. Oh, is this the video? No,
So
this is a long video. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's just you just need to watch the first minute. I didn't clip it, but basically it's just Airbnb to pitch for in 2 sentences with a real life example. I just wanted to share that. That was helpful.
Do you want me to play it?
Oh, well, you don't have to play it here. It's I don't want to take up the group's time.
Okay. But yeah, any other thoughts so far before I kind of move on to the homework?
I like the insight about like not falling in love with your solution, but instead falling in love with the problem. Because it's funny because I started working on the homework and stuff and the MVP and everything. And sorry guys, I gave in. I'm doing like a Discord server. It just makes sense for what I'm doing. But yeah, and it's been going good. Obviously haven't sent it out yet, but just in making the server like the simplest possible version of it, I'm realizing like, oh wait, some things won't work actually. And like in addition to people's needs and wants changing, you'll learn so much along the way. You can't fall in love with your original plan. I guess that's what I found out. Yeah, so I found that to be true.
Wow, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. Any more testimonials? All right. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, so you guys see my screen, right? You guys see your screen or no? The Notion?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the starter pack. Basically, honestly, it's basically what we went over today. But I think it's kind of cool to kind of go through some of these examples and just see like where companies started. Like it really like very humble beginnings. Like, what is this? Twitter? So freaking like little sketch pad. Right. I think it's just kind of cool to see like where these amazing companies now, like where it all started. Like even like Harry Potter, you know, it just kind of started off like I don't know, some like towel. Anyways, describe what you're doing in one sentence. Yeah, man, you just gotta keep it simple. And I really wouldn't overcomplicate it because it's more important that people understand, well, really me and the people around you, like people understand what you're working on than it is to like tell me everything about what you're working on and how great it is. It's more important that we understand what you're working on. And we can also easily tell people what you're working on. And we might not know everything about it, and that's fine. But if we're interested, we'll ask more about it, right? I think that's how it is, right? Like you ever go on a first date, you don't just unload everything on that person. No, you show them a little bit of who you are, and then if there's synergy, you go on a second date, and then third date, right? And then slowly you tell them more about who you are, and they see more about you, right? And I think similarly with conversations, with like just sharing anything about yourself, like you don't need to like you don't need to know everything about your life and everything about your company in the beginning. If they're curious, I'll ask more, and if they're not curious, well, you save yourself time and you move on to the next person. What are the core features? Okay, I probably should have said this, but yeah, keep it small. Like I'm not gonna tell you like I'm not gonna put a limit on it, but honestly, probably like 1 to 5 features. But 5 is honestly a lot, but or maybe not, I don't know. But I think the point is how you want to think about your MVP is what is the goal? Like what is the goal that I'm trying to help the user like reach? Actually, I think this is like I don't know if I have it here, but yeah. I think the way I would think about core features is like using this. You know, what are the user needs and like what do I don't know. Anyways, yeah, just really think about like what are the must-haves. Like without this feature, I am not solving the user's need. I am not helping the user get what they want, you know? Nice to haves are like this is just nice to have. Like this is cool, but it's really not going to make a whole lot of difference if I have it or not, you know? Um, and I think some ways you can prioritize like what are must-have features is like obviously impact, like how much is it going to impact the user, but then also like how much time is it going to take for you to do it? You know, if it's something that's like really hard to do, is there an easier thing I can do, you know, to test out if people want this? How much is it going to cost me? Right? Is it really expensive to do? Is there a way I can do it for a little bit cheaper? You know, I think those are just like some things you can use. Like what I don't know, I'm not going to give you criterias to use to prioritize because I think that's a very personal thing. But whatever criterias you use, just you create criterias for yourself and start prioritizing. Okay, it needs to like meet these criterias for it to be like a must-have feature. Measuring success, I think we went over that. The idea is that you don't want to just build things, right? You actually want to measure like, okay, yeah, what I built is successful. Let's move on. Or it wasn't successful. Oh, why not? Let's move on. Yeah, website link. Where will you be sharing it? I don't know. Hopefully this all kind of makes sense, right? Like where will you be sharing the website, the websites? Link the website. Don't overcomplicate the website. Use Typedream or whatever tool you want to use, or I don't really care. My point is just keep the website very simple and use very simple language and have a strong call to action. You know, I should not have to like I should not be looking at a website and be confused what you're doing, how it's going to benefit me, and what I need to do to like learn more or get involved. Yeah, link the MVP and then just upload like a picture or whatever, or like I don't know, whatever you want to upload that like just show me that like you've actually shared this with people. The reason why I want you guys to do this is because I really want you guys to share it to people. Like I don't know, be very shameless about it. I really like that word, being shameless. Because it really doesn't matter. Like, you know, like I think probably if you're shameless about certain things, like I think that's a superpower. Because you just don't really care what people think about you. Um, Finding 3 to 5 products are similar. I think this is really good as well because you can kind of see what other people have done, right? Like oftentimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just look at what's working and steal things from people. I hate saying that word because like I think people like I don't know, people find it offensive or whatever, but I honestly think real artists steal. Like, I don't think anything is that original, to be honest. I think people just steal from a bunch of different sources and it becomes original. And also you're expressing yourself, right? Like this is something personal as well. So I think it just and then as you progress, because your customers are different, it will just naturally become original. Like you don't have to worry about, oh, this is not original, it's not unique. Just take what's working and like move on. Um, yeah, conduct some interviews, again, talk to some people. 100 interviews is a lot. You should definitely talk to a lot of people. I'm not, but I don't think you need to talk to 100 people to get started. I think you need to talk to enough people so you can keep going. And then like, because you should always be talking to people. It's not like, oh, I need to hit these quotas and I'll never talk to people again. I personally think I should always be talking to people. And if you're ever stuck, talk to people. Ask people for people's opinions. You're either doing 2 things, talking or building. And then over here, yeah, I match you guys for peers, and this is because I think there's some people who can like help you, like people who have like complementing skill sets. But I also just think it's like pretty cool to meet different people and get feedback from other people who are not just me and the mentors. Um, and yeah, that's it so far. And any questions so far about the homework? Like, how do you guys feel about it?
It's a pretty solid guide of things to do.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and I feel like oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I agree. It's a good guideline.
Yeah, and other than being a good guide, I feel like it helps like get the ball rolling because like there's a deadline, you know, so it kind of pushes us.
Cool, cool, cool. Anything else you guys would like to see though? Like I know I talked a lot of stuff. Actually, I think there's one more thing. Oh yeah, this is just like a resource. Let me drop this link here. But how to build your MVP. I don't know how to drop this here. Here, actually, I'll drop the link here. Yeah, pretty cool resource. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it recently, but oh yeah, how come I can't drop it? Oh, here. Yeah, pretty cool resource. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know what YC is, Y Combinator is just this startup I don't know, startup fund or accelerator. And yeah, they just have like some of the best companies that went through the program. Um, but they also talked about like how to build an MVP, and I think it's worth watching, just to get like more opinions on this idea, on this concept, not just mine. Yeah. Any questions so far? Any thoughts? I'm done. Like you guys we can just like talk now. Come off mute. Come on. I want to hear your thoughts.
It's a good lecture. Thank you for that.
Okay. What's next? And what are your takeaways?
Yesterday I had a call with a friend where I was telling them about how I wanted to structure the student profiles of the kids in just like a really cool way through videos and all these things and yada yada yada. And he kind of like challenged me on that. He's like, "Why do you think like videos are helpful? Like, why do you think that as a recruiter, like, wouldn't you want to just be able to read through rather than watch through?" And like low-key, that kind of humbled me. And I think it just once again goes to show that I was just like focusing on this really cool thing that I love to do, which is just like making videos, but not really thinking about the problem ahead. So I think the going into the like needs versus wants of the MVP is going to be really helpful.
Yeah. And in the beginning, you're also just guessing, right? You're hypothesizing. Oh, I think recruiters would read over. Well, I don't know. I think you have to talk to them. They only your users know. You know how they say like only the market knows what's going on? Like no one truly can predict the stock market or predict if people will use a product or not. Like not even Mark Zuckerberg knew that like people would not like the metaverse, right? I think the idea is that like no one truly knows. Like only people decide what they like. People like what they like. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe videos are it. I don't know. Or maybe your friend's right. I don't know. Like, but you can test it out.
Yeah, I wanted to share. So for the past few months, I've been working with people my age, like trying to find the target users who I thought were like people in their early 20s, first time founders who are looking for a peer group. And I've been really trying to find the people here in Austin, but my meetup group, even though I've explicitly said early 20s, are comprised of people who are in their 40s. And they're all looking to meet up. And I don't know, all these networking events that I'm going to, they're also older people. So I'm finding that maybe it's not, well, at least when I was in university, I was in like a little bubble of people my age. So I'm starting to see that maybe my target user, or at least the people who feel the problem more, are actually of a different demographic.
Huh.
Yeah.
Have you tried asking them like why they came? Like you're clearly
Why?
40.
Yeah. Dang, I haven't asked why. I just asked what projects they're working on. Um, that's a good question to ask.
I think it's you gotta understand people more, like their motivations and behavior
Mhm.
patterns. Like why they here? Why do they think this way?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a
Uh,
reason why.
Another thing. What was that?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I also had a call with someone yesterday. I met them on Reddit, and it was so a week ago. I DM'd all these people on Reddit who are looking for friends to connect with, like other founders, and we exchanged phone numbers. I have maybe 10 other meetings lined up, but the past two have been people in their, you know, uh, 40 plus too. So that's been interesting. Um, Maybe it's just the channels I'm trying to find these people are usually people who are older that use it. I don't know, but oh, another thing. Sorry, I keep going. But yesterday I had a call with the local university club. So I thought, okay, this is gonna be a great place for me to find people my age. But they're in their little bubble. They have people who are also students, and they kind of only interact with only students. So it's kind of hard for me to get in there as someone who just graduated. Um, I don't know. I'm just kind of just spouting what I've learned recently.
Wow. Anyone has thoughts on this? I'm curious.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's because like people that are younger are too again intimidated by this formal networking event type mindset that obviously you're trying to transform. Um or that it's like not really how people younger people are. I don't know, because it was the same thing for like the entrepreneurship event I went to in New York City, and it was all just like founders themselves that were just definitely like 30 older. I think there were like three other kids that were like college students, but yeah, definitely interesting. I can send you the list of the people, by the way, if that would be helpful, the people that went to that event. But yeah, it would be interesting
Yeah,
to like ask
sure.
them.
I'll email them.
Yeah, this is my thoughts, right? I think maybe you found something, but you're not sure what you found. Like people, you're noticing people are coming to your event, but you're not really sure why. And you notice that they're these age groups, which is not what you expected, but you're not really sure why. And I think you're trying to guess why, and it's on your head. You're trying to make sense of it. But I think what you really need to do is just to ask them, or like or just really try to find out why. And what is it about these 40-year-olds that are coming to these? They're so interested in coming to these events, whereas the 20-year-olds are not, and the college kids are not. Like I think there are probably some idea, like probably 20, like people who are younger, maybe they already have their community. I don't know. Maybe they're just not as eager as meeting people. People in their 40s are probably just more lonely. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think it's just worth asking them, and just not being in your own head so much about it.
Yeah, I definitely have to ask them and look into it. The group will be meeting on Saturday, so I got a couple days to ask people beforehand. So there's that, but I did a good bit of research during college with just the college students then. And so a lot of my assumptions were from that small group of people that I was connected with in college. So now that I'm here in Austin, the scene has changed a little bit, and now I'm faced with a completely different group of people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think it would be interesting to read the motivations on the side, like the right side. It's supposed to be like their pitch, but it actually says like this guy's saying, I'm hoping to meet cultural and linguistic entrepreneurs. So maybe it gives kind of like the motivation. But yeah, I can imagine the Austin scene, like, just going from having done this with college with your friends to like a completely new place, like that's really bold.
Yeah, it's yeah, that seems like the sentiment that I've seen from the older people. They want to find their friend group. Yeah.
Is that
Okay,
why?
that's
No.
awesome.
I think it's just worth understanding why, and then
Yeah.
what the motivation is with these. And then what's great about that is like then you can also like sell that more, on your website. You highlight that. I wonder if it's because they're raising. Because I don't know. I wonder. Maybe they're just really lonely. I don't know. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else has thoughts? Any progress updates or anything like that? Alex, how are you doing?
Um, I'm okay. I've got I think I'm gonna scrap my idea, and then I'll think of something else.
What are you thinking?
But yeah, I've got a lot of work to do.
No, what are you thinking? Let's come up with your idea now, or like
Right now, well, that's the problem. I'm not sure.
You got to talk to people though about it. Like
Yeah,
you have to come up with your idea in your room.
yeah.
What are you thinking about, like in terms of idea?
I'm not sure right now
Why do you think you're
because
not sure?
I just I shut ideas down too quickly.
Okay. What are you like thinking about though? Or is it just empty right now?
I mean, I've got too many ideas, maybe,
You have too
and some
many.
of them are like, yeah, and some of them are like from the product point of view. So then I got to figure out like, is there actually a problem there? And then others are from the problem point of view, and then I don't know if I could actually build the product.
Um, again, like I think you just start from the people. Not again, like it's not about your product. It's not about like, oh, it'd be cool to have
Mhm.
an app. It's just
No, but I gotta have some idea of what to talk to people about, you know?
not always. Just be like, hey, what's keeping you up at night? What are you up to? Uh,
Okay, okay.
you guys start talking to people, man. It's really hard to like. It's really hard to just have the problem fall in your lap in your room. It's just so hard for that, you know. Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna find your problem? I don't want you to fall behind, you know.
No, I won't fall behind. It's okay. I'll get there.
Okay. Um, if I were you, I would just start talking. Like even like just people in this chat, right? Just reach out to them and try to find out. Just try to talk to people more about what you're thinking. Like learn off other people's problems. If you don't have problems yourself, that are what interesting enough to solve.
Mhm.
Oh, also one more thing about the product building. Like you don't think you can build it. I think you'll be surprised what you're capable of if if it's like something that's like interesting, like for you to build. Like you can probably do a lot of things. And you don't always have to build a product in the beginning, right? You are just trying to validate that people want it, people need it, that this is a problem worth solving. And there's ways you can do that without actually building the full product. And it's like one of those things where like maybe like the building a product fully is like iteration cycle 5. But like I think you can like get to iteration 1 and 2 and like 3 and 4, you know, without fully building it. Like maybe it's design, maybe it's sketch, whatever it is.
No, it's not like yeah. Hmm. No, I meant like is the technology available? Stuff like that.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to do right now. I'll just text me what you're trying to
Wait,
do.
did I lag out?
Sorry?
Okay.
Oh, I don't know what you're trying to do. You asked
Did
me
I cut
something.
out? What happened?
All I heard was like technology is not available.
Yeah. No, that's just something that happened.
Okay. Okay, we can talk about it. Shwana. Did I say it right? Shwana.
Sure, not yet.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I think I have to like actually work on the doing part. Like I have the idea, which is to like teach English. So now I have to like contact people who are willing to learn, so that I could teach them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm.
know how to get started on that?
I mean, I'll probably start with like people that I know, like my relatives in Bangladesh, and if they're willing to learn. If not, I was also planning on talking to like I think a high school teacher in Bangladesh. So if I can get like, his contact and
Yeah.
give him a call, I can gain more information on that. And that's how I'm planning on like doing this. I don't really have too much of like creating or building aspect right now.
I think you can like honestly build a website, like a landing page, and just share it on Facebook or something.
Okay. All
Just
right.
my opinion, like
Yeah, no, that might be helpful, but I have to look into how to do that. So
oh, just use like Typedream or something. It takes like 5 seconds to make a website.
use
There's
what?
really no excuse. Like there's really no excuse to not have like a landing page.
Wait,
Just
wait. What do you recommend?
Typedream. It's
Okay.
on the homework. You can
Okay.
just do it.
All right. Take a look at
Yeah,
that.
there's really no excuse to like not have a website or not. Also, just leverage social media. Like I know, yeah, you can reach out to your family, you can reach out to your friends. Dude, social media is really powerful. Like you just don't know who you're gonna meet, and it just increases serendipity so much, right? Like maybe someone else is working on something similar, or someone else can share with someone. I don't know. I think social media is like it's not just about consuming content, you know, and watching reels. Like you can actually like leverage it
Wait, how do you think I can find people with like similar interests?
on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah, like anywhere. It's groups like communities.
Oh, okay.
Me, for example, I mean, how do you find your founders? The founders you want to connect with? Like, I'm so positive you probably use social media to find those people, right?
How do I find the people in Austin?
Yeah, to like connect with.
Yeah, okay, a couple things. So there's a startup tech hub here, like where they host networking events. So I go to networking events, I go to meetup events, webinars, talk to people in cafes who look like they're building a startup. You know, they might have some programming language, so I know they're probably working on some project. Laptop sticker, but you know, you can find them online on LinkedIn too. So for me, I search in Austin entrepreneur or Austin founder or Austin something. Um, that helps me too. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that's definitely helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. I think this is one of those things where you can do a lot or you can do very little, right? But like, and there's no guarantee of success. So you can honestly do very little and still get customers, and you can do a lot and not get customers. But I think if you do a lot, like just share it everywhere, as like for example, like me sharing his stuff everywhere, right? And I think the more you share it, like the more likely you're just gonna get lucky. It's like, I don't know, you're a chemical engineer. You know in chemistry, like when you just like light a fire on like atoms, like you just like collide a bunch, right? And collision is like serendipity, right? It's like the more you collide, like the more things move, the more collisions, and like the more likelihood you're gonna get lucky. Um, and the more likely you're just gonna meet the people that you need to meet. Or you could be like,
Good analogy, yeah. Kind of the orientation and the energy molecules
Yeah.
bumping into each other.
Yeah, I knew that would resonate with you. All right, Adam, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Got a lot of useful info out of all this.
What did you take away? Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't interrupt.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I was just gonna say that I think that I have a pretty reasonable plan for the next few days. As I told you, I'm gonna go ahead with the reduced added sugar desserts, and I'll just follow the instructions in the homework. I think I'll, make some cookies, experiment with what produces something that looks good and also tastes good, but with, minimal sugar. And, and then beyond that, I'll see what we have to do.
Okay, what is the plan? I'm curious. Do you want to share it with us?
The plan for which part?
Oh, you said like you have a plan for like next 2 days. I'm curious what the plan is.
Well, yeah, the plan is basically just, reach out to friends and family and to talk about this issue with them. I'll also reach out to my two peers to get some ideas from them too, and basically do what you were talking about with figuring out the consumer's need, the consumer's problem, seeing what people want, seeing what problem others perceive, what they're willing to compromise on. Because I'm saying that I want to reduce the amount of sugar that's in these mass-produced, inexpensive junk foods, but if you do that, it's not going to taste as sweet. So, there has to be a bit of a compromise there. So I'm just going to try to figure out what really people want. Like if the amount of sugar in my desserts really is lower than the average junk food you find in supermarkets, then lower by how much?
One thing that as you're talking, I thought about this. Sorry, I kind of know I just interrupted you.
That's okay. It's okay. I was running out of what I wanted to say anyway. So like I'd be interested in hearing.
I think this also goes with like Shwana and really everyone here. The cookies are amazing. Teaching English is amazing. But I think it's also about like what does the user want? Like how are your cookies gonna like transform their lives, right? Like are these people like do your users want a 6-pack? And these cookies are actually gonna help them get a 6-pack? Like, you know, unironically, like these cookies are gonna help you get a six pack because it's like low, like you know how you see how much that resonates with people more than just like, oh, my cookies are low sugar, it's low cal. Like, no, my cookies will help you get a six pack. You know, you will work out less and have the body you want. And it's like it's more about the user, right? And similarly, like Shwarna, it's not just about teaching English. It's about like getting a job, you know, in America, like whatever the dream is, like getting into an Ivy League college because you know English, whatever the dream is, whatever they want. It's really about what they want, right? Not just like, oh, my product is this, my product is that. No one cares about your product. It's all about how are you gonna get me what I want. Which is Alex, this is why it's important for you to understand what people want. Like that's why you need to talk to people like, what do they really want? You know, people who listen to music. You guys have a music app? Maybe people who break up and they can't find like the playlist they want, you know, I mean, that's what they always, you know, whatever it is, right? And maybe you help them get what they want, right? It's not about what you want and what your product can do. It's what your product can do for them, you know?
Yeah. And you know, I think that's something that I would have a pretty easy time highlighting anyway, because there's a lot of, you know, information out there, a lot of medical literature or health articles about the impacts of sugar and everything. And
Yeah.
you know, I just think it would be a good opportunity to, you know, just share some interesting insight about what these things can do. And I think that's something that people would be interested in hearing about because it does affect their health in a lot of significant but often insidious ways.
When you're describing your cookies, what I think about is like the boba tea protein powder and the oats, overnight oats thing. Because especially the overnight oats thing, because like I love ice cream because it's so hot.
Mhm.
Ice cream is obviously so fattening, and I try to like I should not be having a belly. I'm like 26. That should not be the case, you know. But like I eat a lot. But like, I know it's like that would actually appeal to me, you know, like that kind of stuff. I don't know, something that's like healthy, like a healthy alternative dessert. Like, you know, because like I do want to look good, right? Because it's
Yeah.
summer. And I want to look
Yeah.
good, you know, like single, like that kind of stuff, right? It's like that kind of stuff appeals to me. But you just have to talk about your thing in a way that appeals to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, of course, there's a lot of different factors that go into, you know, affecting your appearance outside of just your diet, outside of the amount of sugar that you have. So I can't really be, you know, overselling this and saying that eating this is going to make you look fit or that it's going to make you healthy, you know, but um, I guess I would just have to be clear about what exactly this can affect in your body.
Oh, you could do like a side-by-side comparison, like a regular cookie and my cookie. I don't know, whatever it is. But
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
it's not just about like, yeah, obviously, yeah, don't say anything like illegitimate, right? But like I
Mhm.
think the idea is like sell them on the dream, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not guaranteeing a six pack, but maybe we'll show a picture of a six pack. You know, like I don't know, like just you're really just gonna help them like visualize, like because people want what they want, you know, and you really can't like people want what they want.
Yeah.
You just can't make them get what they want faster and like with less pain, you know.
Yeah. True.
And no good too. Like hopefully you can see like how this can apply to you as well. Like really what do the students want? What do the companies want? And just give it to them. Like as easy like TikTok, right? Like people don't want education. People want like short form content that's like endorphin inducing, right? Like there's a reason why OnlyFans is like $1 billion industry and like Udemy is like failing. You know, there's like a reason for that. People want what they want and like you just have to give it to them. Like, but you can also do good in the world, right? Like you don't have to be like OnlyFans. Like my point is people want what they want and just focus on the people.
Yeah. And by the way, you know, I see some discussion in the chat, and you know, this is just something that I'm curious about. I've heard that Reddit has a lot of bot traffic, like possibly a majority of the stuff that's posted there is bot generated. You know, like the post in the comments. Um, can anyone confirm or deny that? Does anyone know anything about that?
This is the first time I've heard of it, but actually, I know that some marketers are trying to use Reddit to grow their product. And so what they'll do is they'll create some elaborate story that's all fake. And someone in the comment section will link the product as a solution. There was one today in the r/y Combinator subreddit, and it was like, it was spotted instantly. But there are some bots, but you can maybe after spending some time, you'll recognize which ones are real and which ones are fake.
Oh, okay.
Don't base it off of likes. Likes can be bought.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I've also heard that there's a lot of, I guess it's called rage bait that people post on Reddit just to, manipulate your feelings, manipulate your thoughts, and, get you to buy stuff or buy into certain things. And I guess you just described a little bit of that too. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Like, I'm not sure how much reliable information there is on Reddit, how much guidance you should really seek from it. Because, if you ask ChatGPT something, for example, it'll give you hallucinations sometimes, like completely wrong information, So if you're just talking with bots on Reddit half the time or something, then you might be misled. That's what I'm concerned about anyway.
Oh, it's like that? You can have full-on conversations with bot, right? That's crazy.
I mean, it's just rumors. I'm not really sure if it's true. I personally don't use Reddit that much, so like I don't have that much firsthand experience with it. It's just what I've heard, and I think that we might just be dealing with that more in the future,
Wow. Yeah, Reddit seems really popular these days. I just went to like a barbecue in New York, and like all the people came from Reddit. I was like, wow, people go to that's
Wow.
like crazy.
Well, at least those were real people. Have any of you ever heard of the dead internet theory? No? Okay. Well, it's basically, along the same lines. It's just like the idea that even a majority of the activity that you see on the internet is, bot generated or just like done by a few organizations or individuals trying to sell you stuff, basically. And there's just a lot of, noise in there, a lot of interactions between bots, between automated systems. And, there are actually very few real people doing those things, having interactions on the internet. But it's just an interesting idea. It's like a, crazy conspiracy theory, I just think it's really interesting. It's really funny.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, wait. Two things before we wrap up. Alex, do you want to share what you're thinking though? Like ideas that you have. I know you said you have like a list of ideas, but I think it'd be good for you to like just voice them out and we can give our thoughts on it. Help you come to something.
Okay, sure. Well, my first idea and like the main one is the music app. But my main problems with it is like obviously it's like they're already like big companies with stakes in sharing music and like Spotify, Apple Music, like they probably already have divisions that are working on stuff like this. And they do already have solutions in like Spotify itself. And also what Albert said last week about how the market's pretty saturated, and I wanted to find like exactly what specifically like my specific value proposition is.
Wait, can you explain?
And I'm not.
Oh, can you explain what you're trying to do?
Wait, sorry.
Can you explain what you're trying to do? Like, I know you're trying to do a music app. Like, what exactly are you trying
Oh,
to do?
just yeah, like streamline a way to share music with other people, and then make it so that it's easier to find new music.
What's wrong with the way it's currently done?
It's just I find it pretty difficult, and people I've talked to, like every time you look for new music, like you'd have to like talk to like find like I don't know. I just find it difficult to share music with people.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna share my thoughts. Feel free to jump in or like raise your hand if you guys have something to say. But okay, how I share music. Okay, so Alex, I actually kind of agree with you, right? But how I share music is I either just share the song or I share my playlist. But I actually don't share that
Yeah,
much music.
and then
But if
yeah.
if I find a music, maybe on on like my daily mix or whatever, or like Spotify has this thing called DJ. Or if I listen to like a song at like somewhere, like a Macy's, for example, I'm shopping, or like the mall, and I ask Siri, like, oh, what is the song, you know? Um, or I think Spotify now has like this thing where like it's like a TikTok version of like music, and you just like you hear like a chorus or whatever. I play with that a little bit. You know, I'm not really sticking with it too much. But primarily, how I find new music is like if I hear it in the real world, and then I ask it, oh, where do I like, how do I, and I try to find it on my phone. That's usually how I
Mhm.
discover music. So I don't know. Spotify sometimes works, but it's also like, nah, I don't know. But yeah, anyone have any thoughts?
I guess I'm wondering when you say new music, like, what does that mean to you? Is it like a completely new niche category? Like, I would have never found out I like country music if I didn't meet up with one friend from college. Or is it like finding new artists that are similar to what you already like?
Hmm. I guess what I'm thinking now is similar, but also, yeah, I guess, and possibly more like smaller artists or artists that are like not really gonna show up like just randomly. I guess.
Now there you've got to focus because I feel like smaller artists specifically, like that's a lot more like I understand what you're doing with the app rather than just like music discovery. I
Mhm.
like that. I feel like there's a lot of small artists that I only find out about through like Instagram.
Oh, through Instagram. Huh.
Yeah, Alex, if you want
Yeah,
to talk,
because they buy the ads. Oh, sorry.
I, I so I roomed with a good friend. We still talk to this day. And sophomore year of college, he was starting his music business, creating beats. Now he's in Australia producing beats with some music. I don't know much about the music industry, but I know what it was like for him to start up. So if you want to have a call sometime, I could give some insights in greater depth. But he tried all these different channels, SoundCloud, YouTube, reaching out to people on Instagram, all these mediums, and it was
Mhm.
really tough. It was a slow growth, and it was a very heavy grind. So, I'm sure there might be something there.
Mhm.
So you want to help people discover like indie artists? Is that the idea?
Well, they're not indie, just small artists.
The small
Not
artists?
always. Yeah.
Um,
Like you can't be famous on this music platform.
why would people want that though? Like I really don't care if they're small or not. I just want to listen to.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't. Obviously, the music is good, and you don't care if they're small or not, but they're just not getting discovered as easily. Like, they have to like grind their ass off, spend like I maybe money, time, or like botting, sending like hella emails to all the big artists. If like especially for the beat maker guy, like you gotta like send like hella
That.
Instagram DMs to like all the big artists and hope, or like a producer and hope that like they respond.
Wait, dude, I feel like you already have your problem right there. Like that's such a good problem to solve.
All right.
Oh, like what do you mean?
So like in
the
that
problem
case,
is the problem is like is it Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying, like, it sounded like this idea would be selling to the artists rather than the listeners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good approach, I think.
But I got an idea. Okay, I was just thinking. Are you familiar with Product Hunt? So basically, Product Hunt is a website where all these indie products can list their or launch their products to the community. And I was thinking maybe this application you're building is like a product hunt for music. I don't know. Just a thought. I use Product Hunt, engage with community, but it is kind of its own bubble. A lot of the people on here are launching their own products for the first time. This actually would, I think, would be a good place for us to launch our MVPs and stuff.
Actually, it would be, yeah. Product Hunt's a good place to launch your stuff. Like it's for like people who are just like building random stuff. But yeah, Alex. Okay, it sounds like you're not sure it's a big enough problem, right? Is that the idea, or is it a real problem?
No, 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 no. I don't care about the size of the problem, but it's just I'm just worried about the the solution that I'm trying to come up with.
You can also just let other people help you with the solution. Like talk to the people, or tell us what your solution is. That's what I mean by stealing things. It doesn't have to be like coming out of you. You can just take things from people. How would you solve it? This problem.
Yeah, Loki, I feel like you did identify a really big problem in place, like a very niche, like, I went to an arts high school, so my feed is like constantly people from my high school trying to like promote their music, and
Oh.
it just doesn't work on these like big platforms. So you've definitely got something there, and I think, yeah, like Jeff said, like the solution will figure itself out.
I also think like maybe you just need to talk to more people, or like start a Discord community. I don't know, but I think it's worth like trying to like be in that community a little bit, like talk to people in that community. Um, and it's good, right? Because if it's a real big problem, like they'll be your first users too. But if it's not a
Mhm.
problem, okay, you keep learning. Like, why is it not a problem? What are bigger problems? How are you feeling?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. We're focused on you. I'll focus on you.
Better.
Does
I
it
guess
make
I don't scrap the idea. I just gotta change it.
change it? But I think all in all, you really just gotta tell people or show people what you're thinking. Like the people that you're trying to help. Like I said, right? You gotta be useful. Like you can only be useful when like to someone when there's like a someone there, like an actual person, not just like who I think the user can be. It's I don't know if it's gonna be a good solution. I don't know if anything is gonna be a good solution. Yeah, like I said, right, people want what they want. Like, so you really gotta talk to them and be like, hey, what do you want? Like you feel? Cool. Any thoughts though? Like any like what's your opinion? I want to know what you're thinking.
Um, I guess I just I've got some more ideas coming out. I want to see if they're useful or not, or like if they're tested.
Wait, sorry, what did you say? I think you might have like you
Yeah,
cut
your
in.
signal cut out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of. No, I just want to get. I was just saying that I just want to get more ideas on like rounding out what exactly the problem is.
Yeah. How are you gonna talk? How are you gonna find people to talk to about this?
I can find people. I'm like adjacent to a lot of people who make music already.
Okay. Then yeah, dude, you definitely need to talk to them. Like, try not to be in your room about it. Like, not like not. You could be in your room, but just don't be in your own head about it. You know? Oh no, is it just me? Am I frozen?
No, it's his signal is breaking up for me too,
Okay.
but it seems like it came back.
Okay, I think Alex is good. All right, me, Noga, Adam, Schwarna. I think I said that right. How are you guys all doing?
Yeah, you did.
Great.
Good. All right, cool. Oh, by the way, for Tuesdays, for 2 days lecture, what do you guys want to learn about? Like, what do you guys like? What do you guys need help with? What do you guys? What's on your mind?
I feel like examples of cold emailing or um like you were talking about asking for intros or things like that. Maybe just like examples of how you've done that in the past and it's been successful.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna answer that right now.
Okay, that works too.
Cold emailing, just really keep it simple. My name is this. I'm a student. I'm trying to learn more about this. I wanted to reach out to you because of this. Can you, like, can we hop on a quick call? I think it's just good to stand on the other. Again, I think with everything you do, you just want to stand in the shoes of the other person. What will make this person respond? This person's busy. Maybe the fact that I'm a student, or the fact that I went to Cornell, this person also went to Cornell. I don't know, or the fact that I'm working on this project that they might think is interesting. I'm working on this. I thought you might be interested. I'm working on this. I'm a student. Can I get your thoughts on this? Or this is something I've seen people do a lot is like you say something that relates to them. Maybe yeah, I'll talk about it more. But I think what I've seen people do is like they have something that relates to them. Like they'd be like, oh, I saw your talk on this, or this stood out to me, or I read your post on this. I'm also doing something similar. It's like you say something about them, and then you like tie it into you. Um, and then and I think you just want to be like very forward about it, like what they can do to help you, right? It might not always be a call. Maybe it's just like a message back, or maybe it is a call. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think it depends on the person too. Sometimes people are just really busy. Eh. But I think cold emailing, the goal of cold emailing is to stop cold emailing, and to get a warm intro. So you're really not, if you're all you're doing is cold emailing, I don't know, you're not doing something right. Um, unless you're intentionally doing that. But the goal of cold emailing is to get your foot in the door and then start getting intros. And how you ask for intros, you just gotta ask it. Yeah, you really just gotta ask it. I wish there was some secret power words you can say to make people like just open sesame. But if I think if you're just honest, if you're just authentic, right? Like I think I emphasize authenticity a lot because I honestly think people can tell when you're being inauthentic or you're not real with that, or you're hiding something, right? Because it's your body language, everything, right? Like you expose yourself. So I don't think it's even worth I don't think it's worth being anything you're not. Um, and I think when you're honest about it, it's really just building trust, right? Intros, like any relationship ship is just building trust. And if you're honest about your intentions, you're not hiding anything. And why would someone not trust you, right? So, and I think if you need intros, I think you probably just want to be honest about why you need the intro. Right? Like, I want to I want to meet this person because of this. I think it's hard to get an intro if you're purposeless. Like I just want to talk to Mark Zuckerberg, but I don't know why. There's no reason. Like, first of all, why would anyone intro me to Mark, and why would Mark meet with me, right? It should be for a purpose. Like I'm trying to learn about this thing that I think Mark can really help me with. You know, or I'm trying to do these. I don't know. It just have a purpose for why you want the meetup or like the intro. Yeah, but cold emailing, people tend to say keep it short, but sometimes I think it's a personal thing. I think it depends on the person, it depends on the email, and what you're trying to get. But ideally, yeah, try to keep it easy to understand and just easy to read. Don't use any like crazy language or hard to understand language. Even with cold emailing, it's just best to like get a warm intro. Like, yeah, like I don't know, like it's best to like cold email someone that you're like you have a high degree of likelihood of like getting a response. You know, like me cold emailing a Cornell alum is a lot easier than me cold emailing Mark Zuckerberg's wife. You know, and be like, who the fuck is this kid? You know, like there's no reason like I need to like make friends with Bill Gates when I can make friends with like Bill Gates' assistant who went to the same school as me, right? Maybe I can email them. I think sometimes just being strategic about what you're trying to do and like how you can get there. Yeah, those are some of my thoughts on cold emailing and intros. Does that answer your question, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like uh the letting them know how you found them, kind of like the thing you were saying, like talk about them but then relate that to you. I can see that working really well. And also the being strategic about like how you get a certain place. Like if my ultimate goal is to uh get like X tech recruiter, then maybe I should find it through a connection of X blank whatever. And yeah, LinkedIn's probably like a good way to try to find that out.
Um, yeah, like also I think another thing to do would be like to offer value to people. Um, like I know people always say that, you're probably like, oh, what does that really mean, right? Like this isn't it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an email. This is like a message I LinkedIn guy someone in 2021. He's like a YC founder. I was just hosting parties, you know, because I wanted to meet YC founders, right? Like, but if I DM'd him, he's probably not gonna respond, right? But if I told him, hey, I'm doing this fucking party, you should come. There's gonna be a lot of YC founders there, a lot of investors, young too, your age. That's a great way of sliding someone's DM. It's like you're giving them an opportunity, you know, to like be a part of something. And offering value is always great, like if you can, but like and you can apply the same idea to like all your users, right? Like if you're trying to meet artists, hey, I'm hosting a little small like small artist gathering, you know. You should come. We're gonna play everyone's music, like you know, it's gonna be a nice time, you know. You can get your music out there. Who's not gonna respond to that, right? Like if you like, you know, like I think you gotta stand in the shoes of people. Like, what do they want, right? And people just want to have fun, honestly. Like I wish people want more, like fun, money, entertainment. Like people want to avoid hard work. Like people just want like very basic needs, right? Like it's not a lot of things people want. So yeah, I think that's like a one way to like cold email someone. Like you give them an opportunity. Um,
How would you translate that? I know in the feedback you said like kind of create like a pilot program. So is it maybe for the connecting the students and the companies? So maybe it's more like marketing it like exclusive pilot program. Well, not exclusive, but like just like initial testing program that the company should be part of. Like I'm scared about uh trying to get companies when there's not going to be that many students on there. Like I'm hoping for like a solid 5 student profiles, but even calling people right now and onboarding them has been a little difficult.
oh, the students.
Yeah, low key.
Mhm.
Not so much in terms of getting them on board with the idea, but getting them to like send over materials or just information about themselves.
Okay.
So that's where like doing that manual labor that you were talking about that isn't scalable, I think is like that's that's coming into play. But I guess now thinking about like reaching out to companies, I'm trying to figure out maybe how to turn it into this type of approach where it's like, come join us for this opportunity.
Okay. I think it depends on like your what you want to do. Like the thing about like these like startup advice is that it's just really hard because it's everyone is so different and like your situation is so different. Um, but I think how I would do it is like maybe I would honestly I think I would just make a post somewhere and just be like, hey, if you want to be a part of this, fill out this Google form, and like just get all the information all at once. And then talk to the students. Like for example, with the students, right? Okay, so the thing is, right now you have like a two-sided market, right? You have students and you have like the companies. Um, I don't know which one you should approach first. Maybe you need to approach both of them first. But I think for the students, I would just say like, hey, like I would make a post and say like, hey, we have like these like VC backed companies or whatever companies, right? And like this is what you'll get by joining our pilot program. Like what do the students get, right? Is it money? I don't know. It's experience, like I don't know. But if it is experience, like what do they get out of the experience? Like is getting this experience going to help them get like an internship at FANG, for example? I don't know. I think it depends on what the students really want. No, like not just the immediate wants, but like also like what do they really, really, really want? Probably to earn money, honestly, and get into like get like a really sick internship. And you could just sell them on that idea, like, hey, like
Right.
the men, this is their what we're gonna have mentorship, like we're gonna help you like get these like FANG internships or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I feel like the students like um I feel like I know how to sell it to the students to get them. I think like getting companies to trust us when like we don't even have like a case study of like a project done yet. Like I
oh,
just need that one yes, and I feel like it can start growing. But
uh-huh.
yeah, I'm trying
Well,
to yeah.
I mean, talk to them. Like, what was it? What would it need for them to say yes? You know,
Mm.
you can work with them. Like, work with them. Like, don't try to like think like I need to have all the answers. I need to anticipate what they're gonna say so I know what to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
You don't
Okay,
need to
yeah.
do that. Like, just be honest about like what is it gonna need for you to say yes? We're, we're humble beginning. It's fine. Like, you know. Maybe we do the first project for free and like the second one you'll pay us, or maybe you only pay us when it's completed, I don't know, like, and if that's the case, like, I don't know how you want to do it. Maybe like have like a contract or something that like states that, right? Um, or like you have like a letter of intent. I think it's just working with the person to like figure out like, okay, what is it gonna need? Um, I think your thing is a little easier, like because it's like a business and it's like very straight, like we do this, you give us this. With other things, it's like a little harder, like because I think yours is like B2B. Like with B2C, it's not harder, but it's just different. I think with B2B, it's more straightforward. Like I don't think you need to be like I think you can be more straightforward with it. If that makes sense.
What would you say that is the difference? I'm honestly not too familiar with like yeah.
Yeah, I think B2C is just more emotional, like, and like people can kind of flake and stuff. Where B2B, it's like if you can create business value, then it's good. Like okay, like whereas like consumer, it's like you're creating consumer value. It's like
Mm.
entertainment, fun. It's harder to measure. Business value, it's like we complete this project that's gonna help you generate X amount of money, and we just get this amount of money. It's more like hard numbers. Whereas I think B2C stuff is like, I mean, I think it's just more soft numbers like usage, like daily active user. It's just a little different. Um, those are just my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, that adds up.
Does that make sense though? Like, yeah, I think it's just offering them the best thing possible to get them to say yes, like kind of doing whatever it takes. But obviously have your own standards, right? Like we can't do certain, like obviously at a certain point we can't say yes, but yeah, kind of have to do a lot, like kind of have to do a lot to say to get your first yes.
That's fair.
But
I
once
think
you
I might
get,
have to. Oh yeah.
go
Right.
ahead, go ahead.
It'll just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I think I might have to hop off, but I appreciate that.
Cool, cool. How's everyone else doing? We can all like kind of end it here if everyone's kind of good. Oh wait, no, I asked you. Yeah, what do you guys want to see on Tuesday?
Well, I guess I'd be interested in learning more about the legal aspect of doing business. So,
like
um, what kinds of taxes do you need to look out for? What kind of legal guidance, legal counsel should you have available? If you're selling certain types of food or certain types of goods like foods or, educating minors or something, what do you need to be aware of? That sort of thing.
shit. Okay, that's cool. Thanks for letting me know. I'm not the legal expert, but
Yeah.
that's good to know though that you care about that. All right, me, Alex, Shwana, what do you guys care about or want to see?
No, I think I agree with Adam. That's a great idea. When Noga mentioned cold emailing, I was interested in that as well. But then you answered all of that right now. So I think the next step would actually to like kind of look into the legal aspect of businesses. Yeah.
Did the cold emailing thing make sense to you though? I know.
Yeah, yeah. It made sense, but sometimes I feel like when I email someone, like as saying what I need from them, it kind of sounds kind of selfish. It's like I don't know. I mean, that's the whole point of networking, I guess. Like reaching out, telling them what you need from them, even like doesn't. I don't know what other people feel from their side when you just send them an email saying you kind of want this, you know.
Here's stuff.
Your audio was a little unclear. I didn't hear what you said.
What did you say, Jeff?
Oh, okay. I said I'm curious to hear people's thoughts on it, and Adam said your audio is clear. But basically, I think Shorna said that sometimes she feels a little weird asking people for things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I heard what Shorna said, but I didn't hear what you said when you asked.
Oh, yeah, what I said.
Thoughts. Yeah, yeah.
I just said, I'm curious what people think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, like what you, Jeff, said about contributing value to people when you reach out to them. Being able to offer something to them and being able to engage their interests, their own selfish interests. I think that's a pretty helpful piece of advice for when you reach out to strangers. Like you, Shorna, said, when you reach out to people for help, it can be a little bit awkward to just, ask or expect them to help you without anything really in return. But if you can, come up with something that might be valuable to them, like honestly, this can be a little bit hard to figure out, at least in my experience, but just coming up with something that you can offer them, something that you can give, that might be a contributor to success in reaching out to them.
Now what I want to ask is if someone like emails you, right, asking for a favor, but really didn't talk about something that you would be interested in, would you respond to them?
Well, I think that,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you're asking me, but I would just say, I tend to respond to everyone who reaches out to me, but, like everyone's different. And, I've had plenty of people who didn't respond to me when I reached out to them. And, it can be for a lot of different reasons. And, it really does depend on incentivizing others to do something that you want them to do.
That makes sense, yeah. But when they don't respond to you, do you feel a certain way? Or like how do you just go about that?
Well, who was it that said, Adam Kirsch said last week, right, that you know, everything that you experience when you're doing business isn't supposed to be personal. Like you don't take it personally, but you also need to be aware that other people are going to take what you do to them personally. So it is an unequal relationship, but you know, like just being mature, being level-headed about this kind of thing, and letting go of your ego, that can help you, you know, just deal with obstacles or, you know, less than favorable responses from others.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I wanted to add something. So I think it depends on who the customer is that you want to reach out to. A lot of the people, or a lot of the ways I've connected with my target audiences for each project was through LinkedIn. For me, at least, while I was in university, everyone was connected to each other. So I was trying to solve some problem amongst the university group at the time. LinkedIn works, and then maybe someone in your network knows someone, so you can ask around. Maybe your mom, who's an accountant, maybe can connect you with a company or her boss or whatever. Reddit, no, I've mentioned Reddit. Um, just because you might find the answer to the exact question that you'd like to ask, and there's all these people who are at least self-proclaimed accountants or lawyers or whatever who will answer it for you. So you might have a base to work off of, but I would say the in-person interviews are better. I don't know what that is in my background. Yeah, try to get those voice call or Zoom meetings. That helps. But also for Tuesday, for next week, I think it'd be helpful to learn more about the origin stories of some companies that we can maybe get inspired. Like Snapchat's origin story, I know it was really tough to get their first 120 users. They were posting flyers, going to the mall, like cold approaching people, only for 120 people over the course of like a month. It was tough. Um, and you know, Tinder's origin story is popular and DoorDash, and I think it would help to at least in our early stage get inspired in the kinds of ways that we can reach out to our customers. The legal aspect, I don't think is as valuable for us at the moment. And this is against popular opinion, but I think we should be focusing on, you know, validating the product, getting our users, getting our first bit of revenue, and then we could choose how we want to structure our business. But you know, that's just my thoughts because I went into this. I tried to play businessman too early for my first startup. Like I had a team of volunteers, and I was like, okay, let's get a contract for all of them. Let's set up an LLC. Let's get a lawyer. And I spent hundreds of dollars. That was more than I spent on the actual product and like customer interview process and all that stuff. So I'm just thinking back to my previous experience. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Alex, what do you want to see on Tuesday?
I guess all the ideas that are given pretty good. I don't have any of my own as of right now, but I'll let you know if I come up with anything.
Okay. Shwarna, go back to like what you said about like cold emailing, and like you feel like it sounds like you just feel bad, right? Like if people say no to you, or you feel bad asking for help, right?
The thing is, if they say no, at least I got a response. But if there's like no response, that's a little more like
Oh,
it hurts a little more, but it's not in that way. But it's fine if they don't respond. It's like whatever, but you know.
dude, people are busy. Like I'm so behind on my emails and messages. It's just sometimes you just don't want to. It just takes time to respond. You know? I really wouldn't take it personally because you don't know the other person. Like you just
Right.
think you know the other person, but you don't know the other person and what they're going through. So
Yeah.
Uh,
And this is just my mindset on this kind of thing, and maybe you can improve on it or something. But I just think that part of the issue is investing too much of your own mind and your own soul into a single or a select few correspondences that you send out. And in that case, you would feel like it's a big loss to you if you don't get the answer that you want, or if you don't get an answer at all. It might just be better to put less of your time and energy into a small basket, into one basket, like so to speak, and really just focus more on the volume of your outreach. Just focus on getting your word out as much as possible, and being able to create a standard, efficient process for doing so, so that it's not such a big deal, even if a majority of your correspondences don't get answers. Like at least you'll be able to use the or pick up on the few that do get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
That's you go.
No, you go ahead. I don't have much more.
I was gonna say
I was just gonna say, like, the main thing is like not taking anything personally in this process or journey, whatever you want to call. And it's kind of hard, but I'll learn it.
I guess what you could also do is make yourself so busy with reaching out to other people that you find yourself reluctant to get back to the people who reach out to you. And in that case, you really can empathize with the people who might not be answering you, and you'll get that people are just busy, they're tired, they're not always in the mood to talk. So like once you can empathize with them, it won't be as it won't be like a personal slight to you.
No, yeah, that's a good piece of advice as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be like that too, where I take things a little personally, but honestly, okay, I really don't go to it's not really not a big deal, right? If you really think about it, like if you're respectful and you're offering people opportunities, you're trying to create value for people, who cares if they don't respond? Like it really doesn't matter. I didn't even know this guy didn't respond. Actually, it's funny because the guy, actually, I don't know, he did respond. But there are people who don't respond, right? But like like Adam said, I think you send enough of them and you just get rejected a lot. It just who cares? But focus on yeses, right? Like um, I don't know. I think maybe treat it as like a test, like you're testing responses, like testing if this person will respond. And if they don't respond, like it doesn't really mean anything. Like even if they say no, it doesn't mean anything. Like a no, it just means like no to your current offer at this current time, right? So like maybe like next week, give them a different offer and like see what they say. Like I think no doesn't mean no forever. And a no response doesn't mean no response forever. Like it could also just mean like what you're saying isn't valuable enough for them, and that also says something, right? Or maybe just ping them back again. Like people are just busy, honestly. It's really not a big deal.
Do you recommend like emailing them twice if like you don't hear from them in the
I don't
first?
keep doing it. Who cares? I think you just
Okay.
I think people get really emotionally invested when they're kind of desperate or needy or something. I personally want to. I think you should. I encourage everyone here to operate in this like mentality of like you don't need a response from anyone. Like you will be perfectly fine. Like you'll do amazing things with or without their help. Like you're doing something, but you think it would be cool if they got involved or if they. Like, I don't need to work for Meta, but I think it would be cool for me to work at Meta because I think I can help the company a lot. So therefore, I'm going to reach out to people and try to work at Meta. You see, it's like a different mentality. It's like it's not like I'm desperate for your paycheck. Like, please respond to me. Like, should I email you again? Like, I don't care. I want to email you because I think I'm a good fit for this
Well,
program.
I would say I don't know where I got the statistic from. It's just something in my head. But I remember hearing that people respond to emails much more frequently if there's like follow-up, like a second response.
Mhm.
Yeah, if
I
you
like
could verify that.
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna double check some of them. I don't know. Maybe like this can maybe this is like more relatable for guys. You know when you meet a girl, you know, like you can overthink it, right? You can like think like, oh, should I send this message? Should I not? What are they gonna think of me if I send this? I think it's your crush in general, right? Like, fuck, like, you know, like I give a presentation, she's in my class, like, how should I act? Like, you just overthink it so much, like. But I think what's really attractive is like when you're just yourself, you know, like you don't need this person to like you. You just don't, doesn't matter if this person responds or not. Like you're just expressing. I think authentic expression, right? Like I think just expressing yourself authentically without caring what people think of you or say or feel. Obviously, you don't want them to feel bad, right? Like you don't want to hurt them, but like there's nothing more wrong with you expressing yourself, honestly. Like, you know, like nothing wrong with that. And if there is something wrong with that, that's like on them, not really on you. Um, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Like maybe did I take it to like a different direction? I don't know.
No. You guys are all giving great, like very mature mindset. I appreciate all of the advices, and yeah, I think I will go about it and not take it personally. I mean, it's okay, right? It's fine.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, really the only way to drive this in is to practice it. It's
Right. Yeah.
get a lot more experience. You know, it's not going to be that comfortable from the beginning, the same way that, you know, taking a bath isn't comfortable when you're a small baby, you know, but you get used to the feeling of the water against the skin, you get used to, you know, being rejected or being ignored, and then, you know, it becomes very familiar,
Right.
non-threatening.
Yep. I agree. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Anything else? Otherwise, we can hop off and we can go enjoy the day. Okay, we good? Cool. All right, I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.